Mansers. You know that everybody on Facebook was worried about you. So if you don't follow us on Facebook, then you might not know that yesterday Charlie did not look like this. And let me see if I can get him to come to me. You coming? You come say hi? How are you? Can you come here, sirs? Yesterday, we went outside and he was acting kind of weird outside. Usually he walks the perimeter of the yard and then kind of settles down, or doesn't settle down at all. But yesterday he wanted to go inside early, which isn't abnormal because Trig always stays outside longer than Charlie does. And he wanted to go inside, and then Trig came inside a lot later, like a few hours, or not hours, but maybe less than an hour later, but a long time after Charlie did. And I shook the bag of treats and he didn't come, and I asked him, I said, Wubby, Wubby, treats. And he didn't come, and so sometimes that means that he is in the litter box. So I went and looked at all the litter boxes, he wasn't there, and then panic set in, and I ended up finding him underneath the guest room bed. I don't know what I have on my arm, but he likes it. He's been smelling that same spot all day. And I brought the treats to him, he wouldn't eat, and I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And I tried to call the animal communicator that we talked to, and she wasn't available. So I just said, you know, I need a sign whether or not to bring him in. And I went down to my desktop, started Googling his symptoms, and Charlie came running down and sat down next to me, and his head was slightly like vibrating. And so I was like, all right, we're going now. And I had a gut feeling. I follow my intuition a lot, and I had a gut feeling that he needed sub-Q fluids, but that's all that I was getting. And I did wonder if he was poisoned, but I thought maybe he'd vomit if he was poisoned. But he wasn't vomiting, he was just acting nauseous, uncomfortable, couldn't get settled type of thing, and of course not eating. So we went to the vet, we went to the emergency vet. She's like, he looks good other than he has 104 temperature, and normal for cat is between 100 and 102.5, I guess. And she said, but if he sustains a 105 temperature for too long, he can have brain damage. And I was like, oh my god. And then she's like, so the next step would be to do blood work and an ultrasound. That would be $500. Is that okay with you? And I was like, well, not really. Considering that if I went to my own vet, it would be about $200 for that. And the symptoms had just started yesterday. They weren't, long-term symptoms. And they also, Monday wasn't too far away to get that done. So I said, what else can we do? And also, I'm not in the financial position to just spend $500 like that, even though I would do anything for Charlie. It just wasn't feeling like it was completely necessary. And she said, well, we can give him a Serenia injection and a Metacam, I think those are right, injection, and those are anti-inflammatories and anti-nauseous drugs. And then I think the Metacam also has painkiller in it because his eyes were all dilated and weirdo last night. And sub-Q fluids. So we left there with a $161 vet bill, and then Sasha of the Magnificent Seven and I were on WhatsApp, and she's like, oh, Metacam's awesome. You're going to see such drastic improvements. He'll want to eat in 2 hours. And sure enough, 2 hours after he had the injection, he wanted to eat. And I burst into tears with joy. that he wanted to eat because it's so important to me that he eats. And I found out from the animal communicator today that he did in fact ingest a pesticide or a fertilizer. It's hard for her to distinguish which one it is because they're similar. And she doesn't know how that happened exactly. It could have blown into the yard, been brought into the yard by a bird or a rodent. And yes, you can get mad at me for letting him outside. And no, I didn't spray it in my own yard. I'm not that dumb. So I've got some things to think about, obviously, but I'm glad he's doing better. She said he's about 80%, and I would agree with that. I took him over to my parents, who were over at my brother's house today, and we were in the, my brother was putting up a swing hanging from his oak tree, so it took a while, and he was outside for a long time today at my brother's, so now I'm like, great, I hope you didn't find anything there, because I found out about the fertilizer and the pesticides shortly after we came home from that, but his eyes look 10 times better right now than they did even this morning.
But we're seeing handsome. You are so handsome. You are so
you know, that kind of stuff is a big wake-up call of what's important in life. And I was crying. It brought back a lot of memories of my Rags and being worried about losing him. You know, I understand that you have to, you're not going to have these awesome creatures for life, but I certainly don't want to lose him at the age of 4. He'll be 5 on the 23rd of July, but it's way too young. Chicky's been awesome. Chicky's inside asleep right now. My neighbor was cleaning out his gutters, and Trig's like, screw this, I'm out of here. Alright, so that's it. Just wanted to give you guys an update, show you how he's doing. He's not completely my trimancers, but he responds to greenies. Yeah, what so? What about cheats? That's right. Yesterday I didn't even get the eye contact or a head turn. It was more like, I do not feel well at all lately.
Bobby, say hi. Can you say hi? Oh no. Is that not saying hi? There's my wubby boo.
It's also funny how something like that happens and like the world stands still. I didn't care about any of my obligations or commitments that I had put on my to-do list yesterday. Nothing ended up getting taken care of because
I needed to know that my Mancers was gonna be okay.